We should spend some time on your personal story of recovery from cancer using a raw living foods diet. How did you come across this? And, take us through your journey at the beginning.
Okay, in 1999, I was diagnosed with breast and cervical cancer. The doctors wanted me to do hysterectomy and mastectomy, chemotherapy, and radiation. I chose not to do any of those because my mother and several of my aunts on both my mother and my father's side had had breast, cervical, uterine, or ovarian cancer. When their doctors told them to do surgery, they all did it. And when they were told to do chemotherapy and radiation, they did that as well. And either they died from the treatments making them worse, or their cancers really returned with a vengeance. And so when I witnessed this myself, I knew I did not want to go down that route. My doctor was not happy with me. I told him I was going to look for a natural way to help my body, and he actually told me that if I didn't do what he said to do, that he felt that my prognosis would be death. And I said, well, I'll tell you what, if I'm not dead in 6 months, I'll come back and we'll kind of see how I'm doing. And I left and heard that little voice say, go to the health food stores. And I asked a woman that was managing the store if she ever had any books of anyone who had tried to heal cancer in a natural way. And she said that she had a book called How I Conquered Cancer Naturally by Edie May. So I bought that book and brought it home and read it, and it was a story of a woman who had had breast cancer and had done surgery and chemo and radiation, and the cancer had come back. She had gotten worse and worse until the doctor said, there's nothing more we can do, and you're going to have about 3 months to live. And then she tells about how she discovered Dr. Ann Wigmore. And Dr. Ann Wigmore's program for using wheatgrass juice, energy soup, Rejuvelac, veggie kraut, and colon cleansing, and how she did that program and completely healed her body. And then she had all these testimonies from other people in her book that had used Dr. Ann Wigmore's programs and had completely healed. And as I was reading it, it resonated so deeply with me, even though I had never heard of any of this before. I just knew in my heart that it was going to help me. And I thought, if it can help all those people, it's going to help me too. And so I took that leap of faith, and I started drinking wheatgrass juice and making energy soup, which is a blended smoothie with vegetables and living foods and some sea vegetables and some filtered alkaline water. I began drinking that. I learned how to make the fermented veggie kraut, which is like a sauerkraut. I learned how to make the Rejuvelac, which is a fermented type of a beverage. And then I did something I thought I would never do. I had never even heard of a colonic before, but in her book she talked about getting colonic. So I set out on a journey of doing the colonics and cleansing. I worked on my mental thinking to really be positive about what I was doing. I started working on my emotional stuff and helping my body and my physical as well as my emotional body to heal. And in 6 months I went back to my doctor. He was in shock when he tested me and came back with the you don't have any cancer, and I can't believe it.
The rest of this interview, plus much more, is available in the Natural News Inner Circle. Join us today.